You remember the exact moment, don't you? You were scrolling through Instagram and your college roommate just posted a picture of their brand new car. Shiny paint, that perfect angle with the dealership bow still on it. The caption says something like, "New chapter," with 147 likes in the first hour. And you felt it, that little knot in your stomach, because you are still driving that 2014 sedan with the check engine light that comes on every few weeks. The one where the passenger seat has that weird stain you can't get out. The one where you have to jiggle the key just right to get it to start. So you start thinking, you know what? I've been working hard. I got that promotion last year. I deserve this. And before you know it, you're on the dealership website, playing with that payment calculator, moving the sliders around. 72 months instead of 60 brings it down to $520. That's doable. 3 weeks later, you're sitting across from a guy named Derek who's wearing too much cologne, and he's asking you that question. So what kind of monthly payment were you thinking? And here's the crazy part. You answer him. You say, I was thinking around 500, maybe 550. And Derek smiles. Not a friendly smile, a commission smile, because you just told him exactly how to keep you stuck in the middle class for the next 6 years. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, okay, but I needed a reliable car. Everyone has a car payment. My dad had car payments. My boss has a car payment. It's just what adults do. And that's exactly what we need to talk about, because that belief, that one sentence you just thought, might be the single most expensive thought you've ever had in your entire life. My name is Rayhan, and I spend way too much time thinking about why people who make good money, I'm talking $60,000, $80,000, even $120,000 a year, are still living paycheck to paycheck, still stressed about money, still feeling like they're just one emergency away from financial disaster. If you're someone who's doing everything right, you went to college, you got the job, you're making decent money, but you still can't figure out why you're not getting ahead, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Let me describe your life for a second, and you tell me if I'm wrong. You make somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000 a year. On paper, you're doing fine. You're solidly middle class, maybe even upper middle class. But here's what your bank account actually looks like. You've got maybe $3,000 in your checking account. You've got another $5,000 in savings, but that's your emergency fund that you're terrified to touch. You've got $8,000 in your 401k because you're contributing the 3% that gets you the company match, and you've got $32,000 in car debt. Every month, the money comes in and the money goes out. $550 for the car, $1,400 for rent or mortgage, $200 for car insurance because you're financing, $150 for your phone, $80 for the internet, $60 for streaming services, $400 for groceries, $150 for gas, and suddenly the month is over and you've got $200 left, which you spend on drinks with friends one Friday night because you need to live a little. Am I close? Because here's the thing. I just described about 67% of American households, according to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's 2023 data. And that car payment, that $550 that feels so normal, so manageable, so necessary, that's the anchor that's drowning you, and you don't even realize it. Here's what most people don't realize. The average new car payment in America right now is $734 per month. According to Experian's Q4 2023 State of the Automotive Finance Market Report, that's not a luxury car payment, that's average. And used car payments, those average $525 per month. But here's where it gets really interesting. That's not even the real number, because that doesn't include insurance, which goes up when you finance. It doesn't include the higher registration fees on a new car. It doesn't include the $80 oil changes at the dealership because you're under warranty. When you add everything up, AAA calculated that the average cost to own and operate a new vehicle in 2023 is $12,128 per year. That's $1,015 per month in a car, a thing that loses value the second you drive it. Because I want you to remember something. You walked into that dealership and you had a number in your head, right? Maybe it was $25,000, maybe it was $30,000. You told yourself, I'm not going to spend more than that. You were going to be responsible. Then Derek showed you the car, and it was nice, really nice. Leather seats, heated steering wheel, that backup camera with the cool lines that show you exactly where you're going, Apple CarPlay, blind spot monitoring, and it was only $38,000. But that's $8,000 more than I wanted to spend, you said. And Derek said, totally understand. Let me show you what that looks like monthly. And he pulled out his calculator, or more likely his iPad, and he started running numbers. So if we do $3,000 down and we stretch it out to 72 months, we can get you into this for, let's see, $568. Now, you said you were comfortable around $500, right? So we're talking about $68 more per month. That's like, what, $2 a day? You spend more than that on coffee. And here's what happened in your brain. $8,000 sounded like a lot of money, but $68 a month? That's nothing. That's doable. That's 2 days of skipping Starbucks. You didn't think about the fact that $68 a month for 72 months is $4,896. You didn't think about the fact that you're paying 7.5% interest, which adds another $6,800 to the cost of the car. You didn't think about the fact that this $38,000 car just became a $48,800 car. You just thought, I can afford $568 a month. I make good money. I deserve this. And you signed the papers. Now, let me tell you what happened next, and this is where it gets painful. You drove home in your new car, and it felt amazing. That new car smell, the way the steering wheel felt, the Bluetooth connected instantly, the seats were comfortable. You felt successful. You felt like you'd made it. Your neighbor saw you pull up and said, nice ride. You posted a picture on Instagram, got 89 likes. Your mom commented, so proud of you. For about 3 months, every time you got in that car, you felt good. You felt like you'd made the right decision. Then something shifted. The car became normal. It's just the car now. You don't notice the new car smell anymore. You're annoyed that the touchscreen is too sensitive. There's already a small scratch on the bumper from the grocery store parking lot. The low tire pressure warning comes on every time the temperature drops, and you still haven't figured out how to reset it. But that payment, that $568 that comes out of your account on the 15th, and you start to feel it, because it turns out you can't actually afford this car. Not really. You wanted to max out your 401k contribution, but there's not enough left over. You wanted to build up a 6-month emergency fund, but there's not enough left over. You wanted to take that vacation to Japan you've been dreaming about, but there's not enough left over. And slowly, quietly, without you even realizing it's happening, that car payment becomes the reason you can't get ahead. It becomes the anchor that's holding you in the middle class despite making $75,000 a year. Okay, I need you to stay with me here because I'm about to show you something that's going to make you angry. Angry at Derek, angry at the system, possibly angry at yourself, but you need to see this. Let's use your actual numbers. Let's say you bought that $38,000 car. You put $3,000 down, you financed $35,000 at 7.5% interest over 72 months. Your payment is $568. Here's what actually happens over the life of that loan. Total payments, $40,896. Total interest paid, $5,896. Value of car after 6 years, approximately $15,200, based on a 60% depreciation. Total actual cost to you, $43,896. Down payment plus total payments. Total loss, $28,696. You lost $28,696 to own a car that you could have bought for $18,000 if you just waited 3 years and bought it used. But wait, let me show you where this gets really devastating. Let's say instead of buying that $38,000 car, you bought a 3-year-old version of the same car for $18,000 in cash. Maybe you had to save up for 18 months to do it. Maybe you had to drive your old car with the weird stain a little longer, but you did it. Now, let's say you take that $568 monthly payment you would have been making and you invest it instead. Just a boring S&P 500 index fund, nothing fancy. Average annual return of 10%, which is roughly the historical average. After 6 years, when your loan would have been paid off, you know how much you'd have? $55,687. Read that again. $55,687. So at the end of 6 years, your way, you have a 6-year-old car worth $15,200 and you've paid $43,896 for it. The other way, you have a 6-year-old car worth $15,200, same car, just older. You paid $18,000 for it, and you have $55,687 in investments. The difference isn't small. It's $81,383 in your net worth in 6 years from one decision. Now, here's where I need you to really pay attention, because this is where it gets truly insane. You know what happens when that car is paid off? When those 72 months are up and you finally own the car free and clear? You get the itch again. The car is 6 years old now. It's got 85,000 miles on it. There's a weird rattle when you go over bumps. The newer models have way better technology, self-driving features, better gas mileage, and you've been making that $568 payment for 6 years straight. You're used to it. It's just part of your budget now. So you think, I've been so responsible. I paid off my car. I deserve to treat myself. And you go back to the dealership and you do it again. According to a 2023 Experian study, the average American has some form of car payment for 9.4 out of every 10 years. Think about that. We've normalized permanent car debt. We've accepted that we'll just always have a car payment, forever, until we die. Let me show you what this looks like over a lifetime. You're 25 years old. You buy a new $35,000 car every 6 years until you're 65. That's 7 cars over 40 years. Average payment is $550 per month, being conservative. Total spent on car payments, $264,000. Meanwhile, your coworker, let's call her Sarah, she does something different. She buys a reliable 3-year-old car for $18,000 in cash at age 25. She drives it for 10 years. Then she replaces it with another 3-year-old car for $20,000. She does this for 40 years, buying 4 cars total. Total spent on cars, $76,000. But here's the kicker. She also invests that $550 every single month in an index fund for 40 years at 10% average annual return. At age 65, you have a 6-year-old car worth maybe $12,000 and you've spent $264,000. Sarah has a car worth about the same. She spent $76,000 and she has $3,543,239 in investments. $3.5 million. The difference between these two lives isn't $100,000. It's not $500,000. It's $3.5 million. It's the difference between working until you're 75 and retiring at 55. It's the difference between stressing about money every month and never thinking about money again. And it all came down to one decision: buying new cars versus buying used cars and investing the difference. Now, I know what you're thinking right now, because I had all these same thoughts. You're thinking, okay, Rihan, but used cars break down all the time. I'll just spend all that money on repairs anyway. And look, I used to think this too. It's what everyone says. It's the defense mechanism we use to justify buying new. But here's the reality. According to AAA, even with repairs and maintenance, a used car costs about $8,000 to $9,000 per year to own and operate. A new car? $12,182. Let's say you have a really bad year with your used car. Everything goes wrong. Transmission problems, $3,500 in repairs. That's a nightmare scenario, right? Except you still spent less than the $7,600 you lost in depreciation the second you drove that new car off the lot. And that repair money actually went toward fixing a car you own, not toward paying off a loan on a depreciating asset. You're also thinking, but what about the warranty? New cars are covered. Here's the thing about warranties. They're great, but you know what's better than a warranty? Having $50,000 in your investment account that can cover any car emergency without you losing sleep. And here's what you're really thinking, the thing you might not want to admit. But I don't want to look broke. I don't want my friends to think I can't afford a nice car. And this is the hard truth we need to talk about, because this is the real reason people buy new cars, and nobody wants to say it out loud. Let me tell you about Marcus. Smart guy, makes $95,000 a year working in tech. I live in a nice apartment, drives a $52,000 BMW, wears designer clothes, and goes to expensive restaurants every weekend. You know how much Marcus has in his retirement account? $14,000, and he's 34 years old. He looks successful. He looks like he's made it, but he's one layoff away from financial disaster. He's one major medical emergency away from bankruptcy. Meanwhile, my friend Jennifer, she makes $72,000 a year, drives a 2017 Toyota Camry she bought for $15,000, lives in a modest apartment, packs her lunch most days. She has $180,000 saved at 34. Who's actually successful here? Here's what I realized, and this was a hard pill to swallow. We've been conditioned to think that looking wealthy is the same as being wealthy, but they're not just different, they're often complete opposites. There's a reason Thomas J. Stanley found in The Millionaire Next Door that 81% of millionaires buy used cars, and it's not because they're cheap, it's because they understand something fundamental. You can't look rich and be rich at the same time. You have to choose. Every dollar you spend trying to look successful is a dollar you can't use to actually become successful. That $568 car payment, that's not making you successful. That's preventing you from becoming successful. It's not just about the money you spend, it's about what else you could have done with that money. That $568 car payment you're making every month, let's talk about what that actually is. That's $6,816 per year. That's more than a maxed out Roth IRA, $6,500 per year. That's your entire annual vacation budget. That's a full emergency fund in 1 year. That's the down payment on a rental property in 3 to 4 years. That's your I quit my terrible job fund that buys you freedom. Think about your life right now. Really think about it. How many times have you said, I can't afford that, to something you actually wanted? A class you wanted to take, a business you wanted to start, a career change you wanted to make. How many times have you stayed at a job you hated because you couldn't afford to take a pay cut? How many times have you stressed about unexpected expenses? And the whole time, you've been making a $568 monthly payment on a car that loses value every single day. Because changing what you know is easy. Changing what you do is incredibly difficult. You need to stop seeing your car as an extension of your identity and start seeing it as a tool to get from point A to point B. And I know how that sounds. It sounds like I'm telling you to give up joy in your life. It sounds like I'm saying you should drive a terrible car and be miserable and eat ramen every night. But that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, ask yourself this question. What does driving a brand new $40,000 car actually give you that driving a 3-year-old version of the same car for $20,000 doesn't? Really think about it. Make a list. What are the actual, tangible differences in your daily life? The honest answer? Almost nothing. You're still driving to the same job. You're still sitting in the same traffic. You're still going to the same grocery store. The only difference is you have $400 less in your bank account every month. Okay, let's get practical. What should you actually do right now? If you currently have a car payment. Listen, I'm not going to tell you to sell your car tomorrow if you're underwater on your loan. That's not practical advice. But here's what you can do. Make this your last car payment ever. Write that down. Put it somewhere you'll see it. This is my last car payment ever. When this loan is done, you're done with car payments forever. Keep making the payment after it's paid off to yourself. This is crucial. When your car is paid off, don't change your budget. That $568 that was going to the bank, start putting it into a high-yield savings account immediately. This is your next car fund. Drive your paid-off car for as long as reasonably possible. 5 years after it's paid off? Great. 7 years? Even better. 10 years, you're basically guaranteeing yourself a wealthy retirement. When you finally do need to replace it, pay cash for a 2 to 3 year old certified pre-owned vehicle. You'll have the money saved. You'll avoid the massive depreciation hit. You'll still get modern safety features and technology. If you're about to buy a car, buy a 2 to 3 year old car. This is the sweet spot. You avoid 40% of the depreciation, you still get warranty coverage, you get modern safety and technology, and you save massive amounts of money. Pay cash if at all possible. If you can't pay cash for the whole car, save up as much as you can and finance the smallest amount possible for the shortest term possible. Focus on reliability over features. A Toyota Camry is boring. It's also going to run for 200,000 miles with basic maintenance. A luxury European car might be exciting, but you're going to pay for that excitement every time something needs to be fixed. Calculate total cost of ownership, not monthly payment. Add up insurance, gas, maintenance, repairs, depreciation. That's the real cost of the car. This car thing is just one example. It's the most obvious example, the most visual example, but it's part of a much bigger problem. The problem is that we've been sold a lifestyle we can't afford, and we've been given access to debt to pretend we can afford it. According to the Federal Reserve's 2023 data, the median American household has a net worth of $121,000, but the median household income is around $70,000. Which means most Americans have less than 2 years of income saved total across their entire net worth. Meanwhile, according to a Northwestern Mutual study, people think they need $1.25 million to retire comfortably. But the average retirement savings for someone in their 60s is $112,000. Why is there such a massive gap? Because for 40 years, they prioritized looking successful over being successful. They prioritized the new car, the bigger house, the designer clothes, the expensive restaurants. They prioritized the stuff that impresses people they don't even like. I'm not judging you. If you have a car payment right now, you're not a bad person. You're not stupid. You're not financially irresponsible. You're just doing what everyone told you was normal, what your parents did, what your friends do, what every commercial, every advertisement, every Instagram post tells you is the right way to live. But you're here watching this video, which means you're starting to question it. You're starting to realize that maybe, just maybe, there's a better way. And that's the first step, the awareness that the normal path isn't working, that doing what everyone else does is going to get you what everyone else has: stress, debt, and no retirement savings. So here's my challenge to you. Calculate your number. Figure out what you've spent on cars over the past 10 years. Then calculate what you would have if you'd invested that money instead. Use any compound interest calculator online. It takes 5 minutes. I promise you it will change your life. And if this video helped you see cars and money differently, hit that subscribe button, because we're going to keep challenging every piece of normal financial advice that keeps people stuck in the middle class. Thanks for watching. Now go save that spreadsheet and never make a car payment again.